Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Today is Easter morning, so happy Easter to everybody. It's one of those highly celebrated days. And spread the gospel says, Happy Easter. He is risen. He rose. Absolutely. That is the truth. Good morning. And how are you doing this morning? Spread the gospel. So, what a day already, huh? It's been one of those fun mornings for me already. I put a pork shoulder on the smoker last night and getting all that set up and ready to go this morning, or continuing to cook this morning. Went to put the pork shoulder in a roasting pan, cover it with foil. Found out my wife used my roasting pans for something else earlier in the week, and I ended up having to run to the store to get more. So it's always fun when stuff like that happens. But what do? Run to the store, get what you got to get back home. So, good morning, Rick. How are you doing today? Treasure Mopar is in here. It's nice seeing you on Kilts this morning. It's always fun watching you with him and watching your live streams. But I end up, where did it go? So I threw this on the smoker last night when we got home from our hockey game. This went on about 11 o'clock last night. And it's been on smoker at 250 degrees. Well, the first 2 hours was 225 and then 250 degrees until about 5 o'clock this morning when I turned it up to 275. And then at 7 a.m., I tossed these on just so I can get those going too. I've actually changed them around. I put the ribs underneath the pork shoulder, so that's where it's at now. Cooking up heart attack chicken. Awesome. I've got to try that one of these days. I really don't care for chicken all that much, but I do know, like my wife, she loves chicken. And I think we should try some of your heart attack chicken. Good morning, John. How are you doing this morning? It's nice to see you here. And Uncle Willie, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Again, it is a absolutely beautiful day. Good day for coffee too. Oh, but I have my pit boss out. I'm actually using the my pit boss navigator, my vertical smoker, to smoke the ribs and the pork shoulder on it right now. And then the trimmings I have from the ribs, because I bought spare ribs, so I had to trim them up. The trimmings are on there for what they call chef snack. So I'll be able to enjoy some of those here in just a little bit too. And I season those up the same as I did the actual ribs. So those ribs are going to be really good. But it's getting pretty close for my that's not what I want. I don't know what the heck is going on here. Why is this doing this? My there we go. I'm looking on my work phone on my pit boss, and it has a different setup, different everything information on it than what my other phone does. So I'm using my other phone as that's my camera right now, so I can't see that. what's giving me different numbers and different readings for what I have set up on it. It's just different. Uncle Willie says he's going to have some Easter sardines and burger patties later. That's always a good thing, having a special meal of sardines and burger patties. Wait, Uncle Charlie, that's what you eat every day. But maybe have an extra can of sardines today or an extra burger patty. Oh, I was setting stuff up here and my wife distracted me this morning. I was saying earlier, I went to put my pork shoulder in the the tinfoil roaster, cover it with foil, and I'll get that all set up and ready to go. And ended up finding out that my wife used my roasting pan for something else. And I ended up having to run to the store and get more, which, yeah, it was all right because she needed to get eggs. It saved her a trip then. So she didn't have to run to the store. It was just me. And Jiffy, strange animal. Good morning. Happy Easter, Jiffy. How are you doing today? Uh-oh. Milton returns. You don't have any cords hanging around you that he's trying to attack, do you, Rick? It does seem he does like to attack the cords, right? So yesterday I was talking a little bit about fasting and what's been going on with my fast. It's like today it's so much better today. Last night was really good. The Black Menace. That cat. That's one thing. I'm not a cat person, but I do know people who have cats, and that's one thing about cats is they are a menace sometimes, but in a fun way, right? But I've had trouble with fasting with the weather that's going on. If I can fast and the weather stays good, I'm generally pretty good. If it's cold when I start and it remains cold, I'm good. But what I've been having trouble with is when my fast starts and it's fairly nice out, or it's 20 degrees, 30 degrees, and then the temperature drops 20, 30 degrees for a high, and it's just it sucks because like the other day I got cold, my fingers got cold, I couldn't warm my hands back up, and the only way I can warm them back up is when I eat, and that's what I've been having trouble with my uh, fast is just being cold. But if I start my fast when it's cold and I do that, then I'm fine. It's when the temperatures drop while I'm fasting, then I have trouble. So I don't know what's going on with that. Good morning, Kimberly. Do I like hockey? I do. I enjoy hockey. We have a junior hockey league team here in town that we're season ticket holders of, and I watch a lot of the NHL. For college, no, I don't watch college hockey at all. We have a good college team here, and their league they've done really well in the last for quite a few years. I just I don't tend to follow them. John is saying hi to Rick. Yeah, Rick is on the other stream. So, what's the purpose of fasting? It's spelled right. The purpose of fasting is metabolic healing. I do it to get different resets. Your body resets at different points through fasting. Your immunity has a reset point, and depending upon whether you're in a American standard American diet where you're eating heavy carbs, or if you're eating a ketogenic diet where you're in ketosis, depending upon the different level that you're at, you'll have different reset points at different times within a fast. 24 to 48 hours, you can reset your immunity, which helps so that you don't get sick. There's other ones where the first time I did a 7 day fast, it was actually 7.5 days. I haven't been getting signals from leptin, which is this hormone that tells you that you're full and to stop eating. I haven't gotten those in a long time. And after I completed a 7 day fast, I started getting those again. Um, when was it? It was a 6 day fast that I did where even when I wasn't fasting, I was cold. I did a 6 day fast. And after that 6 day fast, it seems like my internal furnace reset. So the normal day to day, I was no longer cold. I was actually warm and I stayed warm. So there's just different things that go on through a fast. And one of the best places to go would be to look at information from Dr. Jason Fung. He's got a YouTube channel. He talks a lot about fasts. He's done a lot of research on them. He's got a lot of good information. Time to fire up the poop gas. Yes, sir. Good morning, Rick. And happy Easter to you also. Cameron says, so you don't eat anything while fasting, or are you allowed to eat fruit and drink water? Well, I don't eat fruit. I don't eat anything that has carbohydrates in them. Your body doesn't need them. And no, depending upon the fast that you're doing. Like most of my fasting I do is water fast. So the only thing I have is water. Water, a little black coffee. The water will be with electrolytes, so you don't deplete your electrolytes and cramp up and stuff. But for as far as fruits go or other things like that, they do have stuff that there's a fast called a protein sparing modified fast, PMSF, PSMF, protein sparing modified. They allow you to have some fat, and that's supposed to help spare the protein. And a lot of people believe that when you're fasting, your body will eat your muscle. Before it ever eats your muscle, you have to eliminate all the fat on your body. The whole purpose of the fast is to get your body burning your internal fat for its energy needs, to get off of sugar, to get off the glucose, and to start burning fat, which turns into ketones. Once you do that, your whole body starts to heal. Your body autophagy is a state in fasting where the bad cells, the misshapen cells, dead cells start getting used up and metabolized into energy, and then new cells are created to replace them. Some people believe, and there's been studies that show this, that being in a high level of ketosis where your ketones are high, your blood glucose is low, and you're in a deep, deep state of ketosis, that it helps to eliminate things like cancer because your body is eating those cells for energy. So it'll eat the cancer to provide energy to continue living. A lot of people do this, and there's been a lot of research on it, and a lot of that does show that that is very beneficial to people. So fasting has many different aspects, and it's actually something I enjoy doing. I never thought I would ever do fasting because, you know, I was a I was a big heavy guy at one point, and I couldn't imagine going, 6 or 7 hours unless I was sleeping without eating. And now I go days. So Cameron says, sounds super beneficial, but don't you get hungry? Well, you do. In the first 24 to 36 hours, you get hungry. That's a hormone that's called ghrelin. Once you get past that level, you stop getting that signal. Ghrelin just starts to be quiet, and then you don't have to deal with it anymore, and it goes away, which is actually really nice. So, but yeah, sometimes you do get hungry. Um, Stress, cortisol will cause you to get hungry while you're fasting. There's different triggers that will cause the ghrelin signal to come back. But generally, once you cross that 24 to 36-hour mark, ghrelin goes silent. And then as long as you're drinking water and having electrolytes, you really don't notice the hunger signal anymore. And you do really well. Once your ketones get up there, uh, I find it's really beneficial then. But see, now going back to this month, today is a odd number day. It's the 5th. And what I was planning on doing is I can put this banner up here, alternate day fasting. I'm going to do alternate day fasting this month. So on the odd days, I am going to feast on odd days and I will fast on even days. So today I'll be eating, which is good because I got some good food out in the smoker right now. I'll be eating that later. Tomorrow, which is an even day, I am going to fast. So tonight, when I finish eating, I won't eat again until Tuesday, either Tuesday morning or Tuesday night, depending upon how I feel. And I'll do that through the whole month. Where on the odd days, I will have food, and on the even days, I will fast. Just alternate day fasting. It does some amazing things really quick to your body, and sometimes it'll be 24 to 48 hours, depending upon how I feel and how I go. Generally, I don't do 24 hours because that's just an OMAD. I generally go 36 hours to 48 hours on that. I can actually change that real quick. 36 to 48 hours. See, there. Now it shows up right. Wide Awake Dreaming says, do you only eat meat? Yes. Yes, I do. I am on a carnivore diet and I eat meat and, well, animal products, meat, cheese, some dairy, eggs, seafood, all that good stuff. Hey, Brian, good morning. Happy Easter. And Cameron says, I'm going to definitely try a 24-hour fast in the future. I have to do it with some research because I don't want to mess up my body up. No, and that's a good thing to do. That's what I was saying. Look up Dr. Jason Fung, JASONFUNG, Jason Fung. He has some great information, and he's a great source for fasting. Um, I've watched a lot of his videos. I've watched a lot of the stuff that he has out there, just so I have information on fasting. Um, let me. I'm trying to look up his channel right now so that I can post a link in the chat so it's easier to find. But I've got a lot of stuff in here, so actually probably just be easier if I. Oh, let's see, where's he at? There he is. Jason Fung. There, I just put a link in there. Brian says, had an incredibly lucky day yesterday. We got prime rib roast, 87 a piece, and got them for $26 a piece. Holy crud. That's an amazing deal right there. Rick says, chicken is sizzling. He's making heart attack chicken. That's amazing. Cameron says, so fasting and eating meat is healthier than being vegan, because I hear being vegan is very beneficial. Well, let's put it this way. To be a vegan, you still have to consume animal fat. They don't tell you about that, but there are certain vitamins that you have to have that you only get from animals. Yeah, being carnivore or ketogenic, being vegan isn't actually all that bad for you if your body does good on it. What's bad for you is the standard American diet. When you go to the store and you buy food, if it has an ingredient list, that's bad for you. So being a vegan will help, but is it really good for you? Not really. You have to take an animal product to maintain your health. There are specific vitamins out there that are required for you to live, and you can't get those in vegetables. You have to have them in fat. A lot of vitamins that are out there are also fat soluble vitamins. That means you have to have an animal fat, not just any fat, but they're animal fats in particular that you have to have. And Ryan Airy says that he enjoyed Dr. Fung's master class. So Dr. Jason Fung does have classes, and there's a lot of stuff that you can find out there from him. Uncle Willie says start with shorter fast and build to longer fast. Right. And that's doing OMAD, doing one meal a day, going 20 hours, 24 hours, doing 24-hour fast, 36-hour fast, alternate day fasting. It really does help. John Together Strong says the one thing I would caution about fasting, if you're on Jardiance or for diabetes, yep, being on this drug while fasting, you can get into ketoacidosis like he did last year. Yes, you do have to watch if you are diabetic. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. If you're diabetic, you do have to watch what you're doing. You have to pay close attention to your glucose and your ketones if you're diabetic. And actually, anybody really does too. So, but it is good. There's also I can't remember what the name of the diabetic medication is. It's an SGLT1 or whatever it is. You have to be very careful if you're taking that while you're on a ketogenic diet. Just eating like a carnivore lifestyle while taking that medication can have very detrimental effects to your body. And Cameron wants to know, do I drink alcohol? No, I do not. I have not had any alcohol for a while, and it wasn't because of anything other than a video by Laura Spath. Laura Spath has been on a carnivore diet for a long time. I can't tell you the exact number of years. It's between 7 and 10 years that her and her husband have been doing this. She did a video, and I saw it shortly after I started the carnivore diet, and explained different beverages and what they do for your body, and whether you should be, or not whether you should and shouldn't, but just what it does to your body if you're on a carnivore diet or trying to get healthy. She didn't recommend not having any of it. She didn't badger or bash anybody for it. She just gave the information. And when she went through like the sodas and the fruit juices and teas and coffee and sports drinks like, the electrolyte drinks, and then to the specific electrolyte drinks like Element and stuff like that. And when it came to the alcohol, all she said was that, yeah, if you're carnivore, you can drink alcohol. It is there. But the one thing that you have to know is when you have alcohol, what's going to happen is your liver is working for you all the time, right? And this is stuff I learned prior to watching that video. You have about 600 functions every hour that your liver does. And as soon as you take a drink of alcohol, your liver stops doing those 600 different functions for your body, and it focuses on getting rid of the alcohol in your body. So if you're doing this type of a diet, or you're doing fasting and you're trying to heal your body and you want to have a drink of alcohol, all you're doing is prolonging how long it's going to take to heal your body. So for every drink of alcohol you take, it's going to take so long for that to get out of your system. And while you're doing that, your liver's not making the hormones and everything else that it needs to help to heal your body. John Together Strong says the doctors were clueless and the pharmacist was clueless about the effect. It is posted on Jardiance's website itself. I showed them the information. The doctors were disinterested. Yeah, knowing the facts. Doctors, man, doctors are frustrating because they really don't care. A lot of them, anyway. Test, don't guess. That's what Brian says. That was a hard thing for me to learn. Luckily, when I first started, now I can look and go back to see what I was up to has been a great help. Yes, testing yourself, knowing where your body is, makes a big difference. And John says, was that said definitively? Do your own research on your medications. Absolutely, you have to do that, because if you don't, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble doing different things like this here. Now, is Jardiance the sulfonylurea? Is that what it's called? Jardiance. Yeah, I'm not sure what one this is. But one of the common side effects of Jardiance that does list here is diabetic ketoacidosis. Yeah, ketoacidosis. Man, I'm having a hard time this morning already too. But yeah, you do have to watch out for stuff like that, because it's important to know and be your own advocate for what you're going through. There's so much out there right now that people don't know about, that doctors don't really care about. Informed consent is something that you're supposed to get from your doctor. Whenever they put you on a medication, they're supposed to go over these list of side effects and what it's going to do and what could happen. If you look in your medical records, or even in the paperwork that they give you when they discharge you from, like your doctor's appointment stuff, they give you a little packet of papers. If you look at that, it's going to have information in there that the doctor went over this stuff with you. Most of the times they don't. Brian says 1000%, John, you're the captain of your own ship, and you are. You have to advocate for yourself. Look into stuff. Uncle Willie says, I stopped all meds and supplements a couple of weeks ago. just doing an experiment to see what happens. And as long as you're paying attention to what's going on with your body, and hopefully you are making sure everything is going right, you should be good. Jeff Smith, what do you think about peptides and fitness? Well, some people need them, some people don't. Um, I have no problems with people using them. If you're using the peptides like the GLP-1s, I don't think it's needed for a long term. I think you're better off using diet to get your own GLP-1 signals to come back and do stuff like that, and fasting. Diet and fasting makes a huge difference in how your body reacts to everything. Um, John says he was in intensive care for 3 days for what do they call it? DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. You're in the hospital for 3 days when you went through that with the doctors not really knowing what's going on. Yeah. Now, I've had to have emergency surgery because I was given a medication that was wrong and it did some bad stuff to me several years ago. It's not fun when that happens. Uh, Cameron wants to know if I believe if people fasted, if it would lower cancer rate. Absolutely, I do. Um, there's been definitive proof, and studies have been done that show people can heal from cancer. People can put cancer in remission, and they can slow cancer. Depending upon the type of cancer, they can slow the growth. They can slow it down. Do I think it will cure every cancer? No, but I think it'll help anybody that has it to live a better life just because of what it is. I've got two probes in my horse shoulder right now. I've got the Typher wireless probe, and then I have my Pit Boss probe in there. And my wireless probe keeps losing connection. It's such a pain. Jeff Smith wants to know how should we fast for overall well-being. Well, you have to do the research on what you want your benefits to be, Jeff. Um, right here again, Dr. Boz, she's got some great stuff about cancer and fasting also. Dr. Boz and Dr. Jason Fung have great information on fasting. But you have to look at what do you want from fasting? What are you trying to heal? What are you trying to get out of it? Some people get a better benefit of dry fasting. And a dry fast is just basically a fast 24, 36, 48, however long you go without drinking anything. And yeah, some people say that you have to drink. To a point you do, but sometimes you don't. And a lot of times, well, some people say that a dry fast is an equivalent to, like, if you do a 24-hour dry fast, that's equivalent to a 72-hour water fast for the health benefits and what it does for your body. But there are a lot of different things that fasting does for you. Getting ketones up is the primary thing that you want to do. And that's one of the things that helps with cancer. Cancer grows and uses glucose as its fuel to grow. If you eliminate glucose, so eliminate carbohydrates from your diet, your body does make some glucose for specific organs and functions that your body needs glucose for, but it only makes a small amount. Then your body switches to burning fat and using ketones for energy. Cancer, for the most part, does not use ketones to grow. It uses sugar. And Mark Elliott says, Jesus died for you. Jesus died for you can live. Yeah, Jesus died so we can live. Correct. Brian says, when I first started, I thought I was fasting to lose weight, but now I use fasting to heal my brain and body weight, body not weight loss. Yes. So using a fast to heal your body is a better way to do that. And I fast. I don't care if I lose weight while I'm fasting. I fast to heal my body for the benefits that it gives me. Uh, Jeff says, when I stop sugars, I lose weight and muscle. No, you lose weight. You're not losing muscle. You're losing water and fat between muscle until your muscle, you won't lose muscle mass really until you have used up your fat. And by that time, that's a long time. As long as you got fat in your body will use the fat for energy, not your muscle in general. You have to be in a really bad state to do that. But like, this is what I looked like 18 months ago, 19 months ago, actually. I was 335 pounds. That was me. That's what I looked like. I was huge. I had a big round belly. In fact, when I started doing the carnivore diet, Taylor's tape, 60-inch Taylor's tape, wouldn't fit around my belly. That's how big my belly was. I was on a scooter at the state fair because I couldn't walk for more than 20 minutes without being in pain. It didn't take long for me to go from 335 pounds down to 224 pounds. That's what this picture is. The before, I was about 335 pounds here, maybe more. And the picture on the right is me at 224 pounds. I've gotten down this picture here. I'm at 205 here. And that's what eating a zero carb diet has done for me for weight loss. And that is the side effect for me. I started the carnivore diet because I was trying to get rid of I was trying to get my blood pressure under control. I was on 5 blood pressure medications and my blood pressure was still out of control. It wasn't normal. It was still high, even on 5 medications. I couldn't get it to come back down to normal. I started seeing videos of Carnivore Ray on TikTok, and then Coach Cam or something like that on TikTok, talking about the health benefits of the carnivore diet and eating just meat, cutting out carbohydrates. That got me going on to YouTube, where I found Dr. Berry, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Hampton, Dr. Siwis, Berg, and all kinds of carnivore doctors, nutritionists, and then just regular people like me doing this type of diet. And I learned from them. I watched so many Dr. Berry videos. It was just crazy how much I watched from him before I even started doing it. I knew what my macros were supposed to be because I was a person that had to track. I had to track my calories so I wasn't overeating, because I did not have that leptin signal that told me I was full. And I've known that for a long time. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I never got told I was full. So I tracked my calories. That's how I know I wasn't overeating calories. My metabolic rate, for the size I was and the activity I did, I should have been eating between 2,700 and 3,000 calories a day to maintain my weight. Eating 2,100 calories a day, and I was still gaining weight because my body was so broke on a standard American diet. As soon as I switched over to a carnivore diet where I was getting my energy from fat, I started shedding weight. But I also came off of my blood pressure medications. I came off 5 blood pressure medications in 6 weeks, way before I lost a whole lot of weight. That 6 weeks, I might have lost 15 or 20 pounds in 6 weeks. I didn't lose that much weight to come off of 5 blood pressure medications. My body was healing. My insides were healing because I was properly feeding my body with fat. So the fat was being used as it should have, which changed everything for me. So you're not losing muscle mass, you're losing fat mass. Your body will use the fat. There's weightlifters out there and bodybuilders out there that do their training in ketosis, and then before competitions they'll eat carbohydrates to get the extra water mass inside the muscle to make them look bigger. And that's one of their tricks. It's not that they have that much extra muscle, but their muscles have water and fat inside of them. I believe water is the best and healthiest thing on earth. You'll never dry fast. I've thought about trying a dry fast. At the start of like a 72-hour fast, I thought about doing a 24-hour dry fast to start with and then go from there. John says, yes, fasting does reduce the risk of cancer. But if you have it, there are some cancers that can adapt. Correct. They can adapt to other fuels, and the body is always making glucose through the liver. Oh, let's see. Jesus died for you, and then his followers slaughtered millions of Hindus. Whatever. Yeah. We're not going to be part of that. What a crank. What part of North Dakota am I in? I'm in north central North Dakota. Cameron thinks, oh yeah. Like I said, Cameron, my weight loss is the side effect. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I was trying to get off of my blood pressure medications, which was driving me nuts, being on 5 of them. And each one of the blood pressure medications, one of the slight side effects of my medication was weight gain. It's amazing how that happens. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. Yes, I do. I look like a different person. I don't look the same anymore. I actually, where was I at? I had a work meeting a week ago Monday, and I was talking with a person that we were dealing with there, and he made a comment about my age, and I looked at him and said, well, how old do you really think I am? And he wanted to know my favorite band or my favorite song. So I told him one, and he kind of looked at me and he said I was 48. And I thanked him for it. And he's like, wait, how old are you? And I told him, I'm 59 years old. He wouldn't believe me. I had to show him my license. I pulled out my license, and he looked at my license, and he looked at me and said, that's not even you. That's how much I've lost. When I got my license, I was 350 pounds. So I got a big round face on my license. I have to get that redone because if I get pulled over, they're not going to believe that's me. Brian says, I absolutely love day 2 of a fast. I feel like a rock star and have those little ketones. Oh yeah. Once those ketones start building in your system, you absolutely feel so good. And that's actually, I've been doing research on the exogenous ketones, like the stuff that you get from Dr. Boz. And oh my goodness. So many youngins coming out today to just be dumb. And Mm, I've been doing some research into exogenous ketones, ketone salts and stuff like that, ketone IQ. There's some other different ketones that you can do out there. And I've been looking into them and what they do for you. I've noticed here recently that my sleep, when my ketones are up higher, and I wasn't paying attention to this when I've been fasting before, but the higher my ketones are, the better my sleep is, and the better my uh, variable heart rate gets. So as I'm higher in ketones, my variable heart rate improves, and my sleep numbers improve. So I was doing some research with AI to see what the effect of ketones in sleep are, and if having exogenous ketones prior to sleeping would be beneficial. And so far, it looks like there's a lot of good information on that, and it does a lot of help. John says we do not lose muscle because growth hormone kicks in and prevents that the muscle loss. Right. Uh, that's one of the things that does happen when you're fasting. You do get the growth hormones that kick in, and they do help out tremendously. There's a lot of really good things that happen to your body when you're fasting. That's Dr. Jason Fung and Dr. Boz have some great information. Protein sparing modified fasting. That's what Dr. Boz has people do with the sardine fast. And that's, again, you're not going to lose that much or any uh, muscle mass doing a 72-hour fast. But people are concerned about it. Doing a sardine fast where you get to eat 4 to 6 cans of sardines in 24 hours where you're doing this fast, it's not really a fast. It's really just a calorie restriction with a food substance that is extremely filling. Because believe it or not, a couple of cans of sardines will fill you up and keep you full for a long time. Brian says you have to be using a whole list of other stuff when you're on this lifestyle exercise, resistance training, along with knowledge. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Well, for some people do have to have a lot of extra stuff going along with this. Some people don't. One of the people that I follow on X, what's his name? He's like a Hawaiian or Sama. He does not use. He's one of the people that doesn't have to use a lot of salt, if any salt on his foods. He doesn't have to use electrolytes. He's younger, so he hasn't metabolically damaged his body like I have, or like Brian or John. So I think the younger the person is and the less damage they've done to their body, have to do. Now, I haven't done any real exercise at all since I started this way of eating 19 months ago. I really haven't done any exercise. I've walked a few times, I've lifted weight a handful of times, but I really haven't done anything. I've just changed the way I eat, watch my sleep, and I fast at times. At least once a month now, I'll do an extended fast of 72 hours or more. But generally, I fast, do OMAD on weekdays and 2MAD on weekends, and eat when I'm hungry and don't eat when I'm not. It's been the biggest help for me. Do I take anything extra? I take electrolytes, and that's about it, really, because I am one that still cramps. Sometimes I can go longer without taking them, but not always. JG says, "Hi, carnivores. Good morning, JG. How are you doing today? What is my favorite music? I listen to a lot of different music, and it depends upon my mood. Um, Sometimes I like some really heavy grunge rock. Sometimes I like country music. I like classical music. I like R&B, hip hop, and it all depends upon my mood actually. But I listen to a tremendous amount of different music, and I actually really like your stuff, John. You've got some really good music on your channel, so I guess a lot of stuff I like to listen to is stuff that has a message, and if like your stuff has a great message behind it, John. So that's why I like your stuff, and it's got a really good beat to it and really good. It just grabs your attention. In fact, my son and his girlfriend both like to listen to your stuff that you've put out too. Yeah, eating sardines helps with the inflammation. I always feel better on a fast. Yeah, and that's one of the other benefits of a fast is the reduction in inflammation. Um, and eating a ketogenic style diet is a generally an anti-inflammatory diet, so your inflammation goes away. And once the inflammation goes away, your body starts to heal. A lot of things heal from inflammation. You start getting your insulin levels down, you start getting the glucose levels down, and your body does a lot of healing, tremendous amount. So you can feel better altogether. This picture right here, this was me in March of 2024, just over 2 years ago. End of March of 2024, my wife and I, along with my son and his girlfriend, we went to Minneapolis, St. Paul. This is actually St. Paul. This is the XL Energy Center, where you watch the Vegas Golden Knights play the Minnesota Wild in hockey. And it's that's what I look like. I was 300 and between 347 and 335 in this picture. I was probably closer to 347. That's what I look like. I was big. That's a 3XL jersey. Yeah. Interesting thing about that jersey, that's for number 11, Mason Morelli, who grew up in the town that I'm in right now, played for our junior hockey league team, the Toros, went on to go to college, played for the Hershey Bears in the AHL, where they won a championship, got drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights to play in the AHL for the Henderson Silver Knights, got called up to the Vegas Golden Knights in February of 2024, and he was number 11. I ordered that jersey that day that he got called up because we already had tickets to this game. So I knew, you know, we were going to be there and I'd wear it for it. And it was actually pretty cool. But last night was our last home game of the season. Mason Morelli was at the home game, and I got him to autograph my jersey now. So now I have an autographed jersey, number 11, for Mason Morelli. Brian says, outstanding job. Well, thanks, Brian. And this is what I looked like last month. Well, actually 2 months ago now, February, end of February. This is what I look like 2 years later. Huge difference. This is a size large jersey. It's loose and it hangs on me because I am not as big as I used to be. I went from a 3XL to an XL. And actually, I've got a couple of shirts now that I can wear that are mediums. John says, I'll be releasing a video here shortly about gluconeogenesis. That's cool. You can learn a lot from John's videos. Check out his stuff. Rick says he never understood the appeal of spectator sports. It gives you something to do other than, dealing with reality, basically. One of the things that we did notice that when we were there is there's a lot of alcohol being consumed. So people are just tuning out in different ways. And the GLUT for how it absorbs the glucose out of the body to regulate glucose in the body. Okay, that's what his John's next song is going to be about, or his video. That's awesome. Uncle Willie said, threw my back out on Tuesday, finally starting to get back on your feet. It was debilitating. Yeah, I actually haven't had that issue here since I started my carnivore diet. I haven't had any issues. Even like working out and doing stuff. A couple weeks ago, I helped my daughter and son-in-law move. I didn't get sore at all from any of that, which was really pretty amazing because helping people move, use muscles again that you haven't moved in a long time. Rick says, good point. You get more enjoyment from your garden. Yeah. And it's basically the same concept, except for, garden, you're growing food that you can sustain yourself on in case of a famine or the lack of quality meat that you need. But going out and spending time in a garden if you really don't need to is the same thing as going to a spectator sport where you're just out there doing stuff just to do something, really. Well, that's about all I have for tonight or today. Um, I do have to get back out there and check on my ribs and my pork shoulder. Uh, I got the pork shoulder in a um, aluminum roasting pan wrapped in foil, so it's cooking like that. I've got a couple racks of ribs on there, along with all the trimmings that came off of these ribs. Two different seasonings, just salt and pepper, and then a smoke seasoning, and then one of them has another additional seasoning on it just to get something different. That's part of what we're having for our dinner today for Easter. And this type of eating meat, took me from being a heavy guy like this, brought me down to, on this picture, 224 pounds on the right there, down to 205 pounds by cutting out all carbohydrates, just eating meat. It's one of the easiest things that I've ever done in my life is, just eat meat, be happy. It wasn't hard to do. I enjoy it. My wife has come on board. She's actually reversed her type 2 diabetes by doing the same thing. So it's actually really a great way to go about living and go about your life. Oh, let's see. Brian says, have a great day, everyone. Uncle Willie, do I use mustard on my meat? You do, and it's delicious. I use mustard every once in a while. If I'm having a hot dog or a sausage, I'll use it then. But like for burgers or anything else, I generally don't use anything. Just salt and pepper, and sometimes some steak dust or holy cow from Meat Church, and some of the seasonings from the Carnivore Chef, Carnivore Companion. He's got some really good stuff too. But generally, no, I don't use mustard. I don't even use mustard as a binder. So I just let the meat be wet, season the heck out of it, and then let it soak in for a while. And you don't even have to use the mustard as a binder on your food. So with that, I'm gonna let y'all go. You guys have a great Easter. Have a great Sunday. I'll be back Saturday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 Eastern. Same channel, same place, same time. You all have a great day.